Okay, so I'm gonna try and do this and be really still because I have it sitting on the bed, so I can kind of. I tried to start a minute ago, but I had it turned and I was sitting so funky. It was so awkward because I'm in my little room. Everybody's still asleep, and but it's not set up to record. So I've been sitting on the couch or sitting on the bed with me. So hopefully it's not too bouncy. I'm gonna try and hold it real still. I'm gonna try and not move as much. But the this morning there was the little box thing that I needed to plug in my stand. It was in the light. I guess I could have just turned on this light. But anyways, when I saw it yesterday and I didn't have a little box, I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not meant to record. And then when I went outside and saw the moon and I did a TikTok or something, and I was like, oh, I could just sit out here and do a morning one like I did before and show the sunrise or whatever. I never got to the sunrise. It wasn't, the sun didn't come up for a while past yesterday. It was really dark. It was weird how it looked like it was light, but it was really dark. And the lighting in this, every time when I do them in a place, it messes with my eyes because I'm not used to looking at this because I don't see as detailed because whatever's going on with my eyes, which would make me going live kind of boring, I think, because like I said, well, I have down my camera and I have to be up there and read the things, but yeah, I don't know that I'll have to look into it because like M23 is saying just go live in the morning for the people who want to watch live, and then that would go into a recording and I could download it. But I don't know. I think people go live all the time and it doesn't record anything. I don't think it holds your download. It's just you are live. So it'd be like I would go in live, do my morning talk, but then I'd have to go do it again, or I'd have to figure out with my phone how to make it screen record it all. Like I don't know. So anyways, but I always think like if I go live, it would be like, you know, shit is getting crazy, which it just gets crazier and crazier. Like I saw a video, it's just like one right after one motherfucking concert incident, they just keep going and going and going. I don't get people. Like how many things have to happen before you think, I bet you the world's blowing up right now, I bet you we shouldn't probably go because some shit's gonna go down. No, nobody think that. So apparently there was another big concert this weekend in Washington State at the Gorge Amphitheater, another festival. And so all these people are lined up for, I guess they all sat there in the line all day yesterday. And I think it's going for miles and miles. And the line to get through to check in, you have to go through police. You have to, they bring dogs over, they sniff all your stuff. They have to check all your stuff. They have this whole thing to confiscate weapons. And then after you go through that whole checkpoint with the dogs and the officers all on your vehicles and shit, and then after you, I don't know if it's right away, you have to pull up and park and get out of your car and then they scan you, or if you get to go and park and get your camper set up and then go out and then they scan you. It's just, I don't get, it's like fucking, it's like Yahtzee Germany, fucking, yeah, well, checkpoint, like, and these people just like, well, that's what we gotta do. Well, if we gotta go travel, that's what we gotta, well, whatever we gotta do with it, you know, okay. That lifestyle is really worth all what, oh. So, anyways, yeah, they got a whole nother big fucking confined, controlled, ginormous fucking concert at a goddamn ginormous amphitheater where everybody's being, once again, no telling. I mean, I don't get how many gatherings have to have the mosquito dump on them. And then the mosquitoes are just getting worse and worse. Like, I mean, they probably got some Ebola carriers. Like, they're just releasing these horrible sickness is out. So, and that just blows my mind. Like, you can sit there and talk to, oh, this got me, because, the climate people, all these climate people, well, it's climate change. Well, you try and talk about crazy weather and the government. Oh my God, it's climate change and all this shit. And then, those people. So, those are the same people who go to Burning Man, right? And so they're all about, there's a whole thing about Burning Man too, like their motto, whatever you bring in, you take out with you. You don't leave anything behind. So the videos I've seen now are, so every direction that they left, so as soon as they got out from every direction, every city that they could go towards, they just went and dumped all their garbage. So you have parking lots, like Walmart especially, because you can sleep there for free in a camper and whatnot. So all the huge giant dumpsters are just jam-packed with all the debris and all of their stuff. Mattress, I mean, you wouldn't believe all the crazy shit. Just like everything got ruined in their campers and shit, so they just threw it all over at these dumpsters. And when the dumpsters were full, they still didn't take it home. I guess they packed it out far enough. They just took it there and threw it in parking lots and shit. So they just left behind fucking hugest messes for other people to clean up. These are people who are all about, let's all come together. And then so many of them rented RVs and shit, and then returned them just disasters. Oh my God. And it wasn't just from the mud and all that shit. No, there's people who just, the side things that would go out, they just put them out and slam them into something and break those. There was all sorts of stuff, like just completely the energy of not caring, not concerned about other people and what energy, just, that's that vampiric energy, It's somebody else's problem. It's always somebody else's problem. But that's that dark side that those people are unaware of, because they've all got a dark side. Nobody's fucking all perfect and the good guy. Everybody's got both sides, but people just don't want to see that side of themselves. People only want to see the good side. That's this social justice warrior, these fucking, all these, what are those? I could see it and hear this, virtue signaling people. Like, everybody's better than everybody. It's this hierarchy. It's how our minds are set up. I was even thinking, how often is it in my conversation, because of people, would take it as a competition. I take it always as a, as all like I'm including myself in a conversation or something about my own experience. So somebody can be talking about their experience, and I'll start talking about mine, because to me, that is a merging of experiences, but then on different perspectives, different wavelengths and stuff. Then they can take it as like, oh, it's a competition, So it's so weird, because this is something I've so much noticed this weekend, is that perception, how it is so easy. It totally is based on our own perception of how we take things in. So it is not at all based on the other person. It is so fucking, and you will go and look for the messages that you're trying to confirm to yourself. So it's crazy, and hopefully all comes incidences will start popping in my head, because I was like, oh my God, every time I see it. That is one thing, is, when I'm at home, it's just me and Stella. Like, I know I can see things. I know I can see things that other people don't see. And I'm not just talking about the spirit energy and all that stuff. I'm not just talking about other realms and stuff. I'm talking about the depth. There's deeper things that I see in, like, the patterns of how we interact and shit. Like, I see things that other people don't see. I don't know how to explain it. And that to me is like the seer ability, is this seeing beyond. Like, I can see way beyond. My mind just does it automatically. Like, I don't have to just, what's happening in the future? No, it just is like I watch things and they just are playing out. Like, I swear to God, it is something about, we're just all on different levels. I really swear to God, like, in how I'm understanding things is just this, we're all playing these games, but we're all playing them in different levels. And it is us to get over things. Like, I even tried to explain this to my daughter yesterday, but she, I wish she was at the same level as me so we could talk on the same level, but she still is processing on this out of the, it's like a different translation, like the 3D translation of language, and it's just different. But your the 3D language is based on your perception. So once you break your perceptions down, you start opening your mind to hearing the messages beyond the words. The words, you take them in and you decipher how you take them. You can, and I've talked about this before, but I just see it so much. Is, you could put 10 people in the room, you could say something, and they're all going to have their own perception of what you said, how it impacted them, what they thought about it and stuff. And, those things don't matter so much to us. It's when we're interacting with somebody, you've got to remember that out of all the possibilities, it's unlikely they're going to understand what you're saying on the same level as what you're saying it. It's going to be perceived, processed, and then back out as what they're there to learn, what they're there to understand. And when they're not in that mode, they're there, it's like a reject. It's like reject, like that trigger, they reject it. And so then they've got to turn it and make it your problem. It's you, because that's what's happening so much. Everybody thinks, well, if they would just do this, if they would just do that, then everything would be better. But I was trying to explain to my daughter, because I was saying, we're just all on these different levels, and she's working on trying to become spiritual. Like, but she's got the 3D spirituality in her mind. What trips me out, and this really is something that's tripping me out, because it's like, I don't know, my guides have shown me, like I said, they've shown me, they've told me, fuck, you remember, the amount of communication that they give when you start paying attention, it's crazy. And so they've already shown me and told me, so much about the future, like even where we are now, like when I was looking ahead, and I could see it in an overall, like it's always an overall. I don't see the details, I don't see the time, it's just like I see a picture expand. Like I go through life and I see things and it's just this expansion. It's not right here. I see beyond that somehow. And I have no idea what it's all about, but this 3D spirituality is all about control. It's like religion. It's just to control your spirit. And so, and they've got people out there, doing it. And they give them big platforms. They make it seem like, well, these people are the ones we should listen to. Like, everybody else is listening to them. They seem to know. But there's the twist, just like the twist of telling people that you have to be vegan to be super spiritual. It's like, never would a real spiritual person say that to somebody, because it is the internal relationship with life that the person has to come into contact with, their relationship with consumption, with food, with energy and stuff. And it has to do so much with your programmed, your DNA imprint in how you eat. Has to do with other things besides this life right here. It has to do with multiple lives. Like, there's a reason why we have tendencies, that we like things, and it's a part of us. It's not just nurture or nature. It is the soul. It's the soul's being. It has its own imprint that comes into the life. You set a bunch of babies down and then you can watch. They all have unique, distinct personalities from the start. Nobody's forming these personalities. They come in with a desire. They come in with a storyline. They come in with, it's like a character is developed in a story. It has a whole story. When these characters come into the game, they have a story that they will encounter throughout their lives, that they will play out. They have a storyline. Just like, when you're in a character development, when you're writing a character into a story or something, there's a background to the person. There's something more to them. It's not just as, a lot of times when people are writing stories and developing characters, they're based on multiple different characteristics out of other people that they know, but then it's a new creation of their own, of merging of all these personalities into something that they create their own character and then put it in a book. But that is what you're actually doing when you're being birthed. Your DNA is the carry of all these characteristics, or all the characters that you've played throughout your time in existence. It's how you have eaten. It's how you, and so you, at this state of being, has to acknowledge that state of being to come into its fullness, into its wholeness, so that then, but the food thing has a, it's a step. It's not like the super spirits that set rules, like religion and stuff. Well, you got to do this. No, you have to find yourself. That's the journey, is to self. Maybe that has to do with food. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure we could find different monks, different gurus, different groups that all have different ways they eat. It's not like, you got some that don't eat at all. It's very independent how you choose. And don't ever think you're not spiritual enough because you're not vegan, or I'm not spiritual enough because I don't know anything about crystals. Well, I don't do Reiki, so I'm not spiritual enough. Don't ever do that. It's it's a journey to self. It's what you're interested in. Maybe you're not here for those. That doesn't mean you're not spiritual. Spiritual is following you, being an independent person in the world, following your likes, your desires, always challenging yourself, becoming more whole. It's a different way of looking at life. Like I've said, I've lived a very different life, and I had no idea. I've lived such a different life than people. And it's weird how all this is going on, and you talk to people, and it's just like, wow, I was living so differently. I've always understood purpose and stuff. The worst things that could happen to me, and I always knew there was a purpose. I never got beat down. Like bad thing after thing after thing happened, and I didn't get beat down because I understood on a spiritual depth about life. And so they've robbed that from people. They've kept people in the dark in a box. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say to my daughter. Yeah, because I was saying about that we're all playing on different levels, and different levels with different people. We're playing different games, different things out. So, you can be working on this, and this person came in to challenge you, so that you had to keep finding that in you, but you keep pushing them away because you're triggered. Fuck them. But really, you have like this person coming in to challenge you, so this part of you grows. But then you have this other person coming over here who's challenging something different. So there you're playing a different game. It's like these different games going on. It's like, fuck, as souls, we are fucking like master chess players sitting there playing multiple games with people when you're looking at life from a spiritual perspective. When you're just looking at it as like you're just accidentally here, you have no idea what's going on, you're just spinning out in space, the government's in control, like all this stuff, then you're looking at life so different. And that is what trips me out, especially when I come to things like, I've been having such a good time, like, oh my gosh, such a good time. And to me, it's like my one daughter who doesn't want to be around me, she's missing out on some such good times, but she's got to recognize, her stuff, and she's held back very much. She has not got to get know this person. She's holding on to somebody from the past, the mean mom who ignored her and just went out with other guys and married bad guys and all this stuff. She doesn't see me as the broken person. She sees me as the monster who hurt her. So she's got to go through that process, We all had to go through it. And so, a lot of people do get stuck in it, well, my parents just suck. And the sad thing is if you think your parents suck, then it's a hard one to get over and think that you're okay. You just will keep thinking, you suck, you suck, you suck, you're not good enough. Because how could anything good come from these two parents that suck ass so bad? So it's important for the individual to heal and forgive and to just recognize, everybody's broken. Like, nobody's better than anybody else. Everybody's got issues to get over. And so on the level thing, when I was talking to my one daughter, I said, to me, and I've seen this, and I don't know, when you say something to somebody, they will perceive it, so they break it down differently than what you mean it. And then their distortion and what you're saying, then it's like, it's weird. And so I was like, well, I wonder if other people who didn't feel aimed at them, if they would get it. Because I had a couple of different conversations. And, but in this one, I had said, I feel like we're playing this different game. It's like we're two different philosophies, like the yin and the yang. We're two different philosophies. And it's like, but this is challenging me to always look at a higher part, to balance myself even more and more and more. Like I said, she's been the one challenging me all the time over boundaries and everything. So, but she does it over pushing me. It makes me have to have boundaries. So you got to see how it works. Like I don't get mad at her because I know it's me that needs to grow. It's not her. But, and so when I had said that, and then she's like, oh, which one is me? And I said, the dark. And she's like, oh, of course. And gets all huffy about it. And it's like, you're the one who has told me. That's where I even had come up with it. Because we were talking one time and she was saying about that she always sees this negativity. She sees what's broken all the time. She sees what's wrong. And she's always wanting to change that. So her way of coming at it is seeing what's wrong. And so that is in the dark. She sees it's a different philosophy. It has nothing to do with you're the bad one and I'm the good one. That's not what it's about. It's a philosophy. It's a way of looking at life. It's a way of coming at things. It's a way of perceiving. And, and I don't know what her soul is trying to do. If she's going to go through this one and go, oh man, every time she tried to explain that to me, I got mad because I just kept looking at it like she was my enemy or something. I don't know. We're all on our own journey, and, maybe, she's not there to grow from it. But I think we're all here to grow from our interactions. But so I was, because to me, I always am like, I have a different way of looking at things. And always the way I look at things super triggers her. Because this was such a good one. Yeah, she was being upset about something. She was feeling pressured. That somebody was not taking her into account and wanting her to do something, and she was complaining about what they wanted her to do. But I was pointing out the positive thing of what they wanted her to do. So she felt like I was discounting her feelings. But to me, I just look at, that's what I'm saying, it's weird, because I'll look at a certain thing and people can take it a certain way. So when you're always going around life pointing out the light, trying to get people to see the light side, trying to get people to see the good side, trying to get people to see the solutions, they feel ignored, angry, upset because they want to be in the dark. That's what I'm talking about. Is there's a negativity that people are kind of trapped in this negativity, but the light is flipping around. And that's why my way of looking at things is appealing to so many people. Because there's been so much of looking at it from a certain perspective. But when you're the person who is always looking at this other perspective, seeing these other things that other people don't see, I feel like there's a lot of eye rolling. There's been a lot of, you know, there's, I'm used to being an odd man out. It's been my life, you know. I was set up for it. It was like I was set up to go through this part and be able to withstand being the odd man out, to be able to stand firm in what I know and be thought of as crazy, and to know no matter what, the things I have to say are important and people need to hear them, and even if they think it's crazy, that I've planted a seed that is already, you know, sprouting. The seeds of thought are being spread like crazy because they're giving them and then we're spreading them. So, you know, people like me who, or anybody, you know, anybody who you're willing to speak up, not, you know, not yell and scream and fight with people and tell them they're wrong. And but that is one thing that really is tripping me out, you know, and this is because they've shown me so much about where things are going as the shift occurs. And when I'm talking and I'm around my, you know, my people and I'm talking, and it's always like, you know, I'm all odd man out. But when things turn and they see that the things that I was saying were never crazy, that the things I was saying, it's going to be, it is a part of their experience. It's got to be, to see. Like I said that long time ago, but I sure see, like it's trippy. This is a trippy experience to go through, because I feel like it is so much about this locking in, you know, well, that's not, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, but I know this shit. I know this shit. And everything that I have known keeps playing out. And I don't know, maybe all some things are going to change, but I think there were supposed to be people here like me who were supposed to be here to help at this shift, that could see, you know, because it's just the role. It's a role, you know, so, but I can see, you know, I was being prepared for this role, and then going out and, you know, it just talking, and I talk with confidence. You know, the things I say, I'm not like a maybe. Oh, well, maybe there's space. I've always been, there's alien. I mean, I've been talking to them my whole life. And, you know, and, well, I mean, when people tell me, well, that's just your thoughts and stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, I guess we have a lot of 3-year-olds who are able to go in there in philosophy, with their own philosophy, and decide right from wrong, good from evil on their own at 3. And then I guess, you know, I just sat there talking to myself throughout my life, explaining to myself about what the world's about, what the meaning is, why we're doing, you know. Like, that was not me talking to myself like that, unless it was in my imprint, as my imprint was awakening itself and telling me in my mind, and my higher self, my more advanced self, was explaining it to me. And I'm an alien, and I was trying to explain to myself what the world was all about, you know. But no matter what, if it was me, my higher self from some other planet trying to explain it to myself, or if it's other beings, you know, I don't know. But I sure the fuck know that there was somebody guiding me through life, explaining things to me. That's why it just trips me out. That people have just been like, ugh. Not having any of that? Not having any? Like, no wonder everybody's so influenced by everybody else. Nobody knows what the fuck to do. You gotta... I mean, there is something inside of people that drives them, but they just don't realize they're being driven by impulse that is being guided by this dark energies, your triggers. That's the autopilot. That's not thinking for yourself. It's not being mindful. It's not going deeper. That's just being like trigger happy to shoot at anything. So it's a very different way to live. Like, I don't understand it. Like, everybody would have to come into their own understanding of themselves to start recognizing their own way of living. You know, like, that's what, to me, everything is just questioning yourself. at this point, just keep questioning yourself, everything. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Why do I think that? Why do I say that? You know, and it's going to drive you crazy if you start really getting into it, because you'll feel like you're just hyper analyzing yourself. But you got to start understanding yourself. You're not just, you know, a fucking car driving itself out of control. You're a human. You're a being. I don't say human because, you know, because there's something too that has been coming into my mind is because we have the human thing, you know, and we have the all these Native American people, all these indigenous people, all these tribe people. I just think of it as tribes, like all the way back to the beginning when there was tribes, when there was the Neanderthals, but supposedly those all kind of went extinct. And then we just have the Homo sapiens and the Homo sapiens sapiens, but there's so much more messing with us than that. And that is, I think, why they're coming out with all this mRNA and all this, where we're going to change what we call them, and then, well, humans don't have any rights, like all of this stuff that they keep doing and stuff. It's all as this, but we aren't any of this stuff. We are light beings. We are eternal beings. We are the energy inside the being. We're not the being. And so the being is a expression of our eternal side. It's the game player. So it's like a part of you expressing. It's like trying to, if you were to go micro macro and use your body, is that it would be trying to say your finger with all of you. You know, we're an expression, and we're only expressing a very small part. Even where I say, like, your physicality shows the things that you are working on, you know, all different ways. It could be self-esteem, it could be, there's like all different things. So everything is, has a meaning, has a purpose, like why you're here, what you're doing, all of it. And let me think, because there was something I was, I had I have a bunch of things coming in my head, sorry. It's like I'm going through like this file. I don't know if I can get back to where I was, because there seems like there's a lot of interference and other things. Maybe it will spin back, because I keep on having this, because it keeps tripping me out, is how I can, like, in a like you're just sitting there with a group of people talking, and then they can be talking and what they're saying, but I go so much further in my mind in how I see things and what I can see, and I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. It's weird, because it's like, is that this like deeper side of me that I was never meant to see the shallow? I was only meant to see the deep. So then when things turned, there would be, because it's going to feel like when it flips, the shallow end will become the deep end will become the shallow end. But the shallow is going to feel so uneasy. They're all of a sudden going to be in a depth of things they don't understand, things that they didn't want to look at. You know, things that you start talking and people are like, don't talk about that. Oh, that gives me anxiety. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to think about that. All that, but all of a sudden they're going to find themselves in the depth of just surrounded by that energy. So the shallow is going to be overwhelmed. It's going to feel like a lot of them are going to feel drowning. It's going to be overwhelming. And it's the energy. It's the, you know, things that they haven't wanted to think about and stuff like that is going to be everywhere. It's going to be this giant flipping of things, you know. It is so much that yin and yang, this flipping around. The light is going to flip around, but as it flips around, because look at that too, how the yin and the yang is. Like, things started out in the dark. And I swear, I think things really went, I'm sure it went further back. But where I noticed things was like around the 80s or 90s where things started. And I could see it coming. That's what trips me out. As I would say, well, if we keep going this way, this is what will happen. If we keep doing this, this is what's going to happen. And, but so it started out as the dark, you know, as this little bit. And it's, you know, we don't notice too much. Doesn't affect us too much. But then now, how much dark is here? We're all affected. Everybody is affected by the dark. And people are seeing how much darkness was in our life and how much it affected us. But that is this swing around. This is the right at this sweet point where the darkness goes into the light. But it goes into, and see, we're in the little thin part where a little bit of light seeping in, but this is this swing around, where it's going to swing around like that, and it's going to be a lot of light, and it's going to be so overwhelming to people that were so comfortable in the dark, because it's going to turn their minds upside down. They're going to have to look at everything so different, and that's what trips me out, is because there's so many people I'm around who see things so differently than me, and so they're always the majority. But when things flip around, see, the minority becomes the majority. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So this thing with all the tribes. So we go back to the tribes, like that's the natural people. But throughout time and history, you know, they've done a lot of, we've had people from other planets come here and live and mix. We've got a lot of different things of mixing and stuff. And so there's, you know, a lot of different people from different places that come to mix with us. We've got all sorts of things going on. So it's, but there's still these natural people, because they're still under attack. And even there's something about the WEF or WHO or something like that even said something about, I mean, they're trying to kill off the natural people, and just, so, and in Hawaii, oh my God, this shit just gets crazier and crazier in Hawaii. Because it definitely seems like, I saw somebody doing a breakdown of another thing about Oprah and her name. This Oprah means the one who turned against, oh yeah, who turned against their own people. Oprah means the one who turned against their own people. And then when free, so it's, her name represents, she turns her against her own people when she's free. So she was set free and turned, she became a handler. Just like that girl I was talking about, Ray Chandler. And it was like, I can't remember her name, but it's something about handler. Because Ray Chandler, because she's a handler. And so they put these people out there to be handlers, to pull in more people. And Oprah's a big one, man. Oh, she's so goddamn evil. And this guy was talking about at the Rock, that is what the place is called, that Oprah bought all the land, and the tunnels that are down there is a whole thing about, it's at the Rock, it's where the pickup point, so you know, they've got a surplus of children now, and they're for sale, and you know, those are the best hot dog stands ever. So it's so fucking sick. And kill all those people. Oh my God, these people are such animals. They're monsters, man. Fuck, they're evil fuckers. God, I can't wait to see Oprah fucking go down. The Rock too. And you can tell on Rock's face, he's trying to play it off as he's feeling the pain of Hawaii. You're feeling the pain of what's to come. Now, I don't know if that's the real guy or not the real guy. Same with Oprah. I don't know if that's her. But I don't think that they could get these people to come out and say some of this stuff unless the people, I don't know, this is just weird, man. It's weird. So, fuck. Luckily, it's coming to an end, man. But, okay, again, I skipped over something I was about to say. Let me think what it was. That's too funny. Start to say it again, start talking, and then go skip over it again. Let me think. So I just keep thinking, took some creamer. There was some pumpkin creamer. So, but I'm on vacation. I've had a couple of those seltzers. What I've determined is when it's super hot outside, drinking seltzers, you will get a headache because you got to drink a lot of water. So today I'm just going to drink water. And plus the seltzers, they taste good like when you first have a drink, you know, when it's real hot outside because it's all bubbly and got flavor. But then instantly it gets warm and then it tastes like yucky. So, anyways, that's just the whole thing. But I got to drink more water. But I'm on vacation because I was like, well, I'm going to put some of that creamer in there because I'll go through it. I mean, the pumpkin chais, oh, I love them. And so, you know, this is a season I would go through a coffee stand and get one. So it was like, and those are going to put fucking fake ass creamers and shit in it. So I may as well just not pay for one of those and just make one myself. So anyways, I think that's where you gotta, don't be too firm and on your rules. Allow yourself things. That's where so much part of our human structure has been about setting rules for ourselves, setting rules for everybody else. You know, we've decided what makes a good person, what's a successful person. We decide all this shit and we put the rules out there for everybody. But we hold ourselves back, putting ourselves in rules. Like I wouldn't be able to enjoy this nice cup of tea with this pumpkin thing because, well, I can't have any chemicals. When the sneak those goddamn chemicals in all the time. Oh, one thing though is everybody is all into wanting to make bread now. Even my one daughter's partner is ordering a bread maker. She's all into it now. She wants to make bread. So, but then I've seen some other things play out that were really surprising. Where I think it's funny because you see things playing out, and I don't think the other person has awareness of what they're doing. You know, sabotaging or whatever. And it was just like, it's weird. You know, and they could be doing it with intent, but I don't know. I just think so many people do things and don't think about what they're doing. You know, they're just playing things out. And it's very interesting. You know, just because I know people don't see me, if they seriously, this is so trippy. Think about how people don't see me, but then when things flip, all of a sudden they're going to see me so differently. Because how did you know? I mean, how did you know though? How did you know this? How did you know that? I don't know. It is because that's the role I came to play, is the only thing I can say. I don't know why I know things that other people don't know. I don't know why I was being told things that other people weren't told in my life. I don't know why I had to go through one challenge after another, when one challenge can break a person, and I just had them layered on top of layers of challenges. And, you know, that I didn't let them get me down, break me down, tear me down. You know, it's because it's the role I came into play, you know, and it's just beginning to show itself. It's trippy when you can see so much beyond what other people can see. And then it is like, there was times there would be people in talking as well, I would have to not even talk because I'm seeing so far past what they're seeing. And it's like, you start saying something and then people are just like, what? It's just, they just, I don't know, it's weird. It's fucking such a weird experience to go through. And I don't know how many other people are going through it, you know? But it is a part of the whole thing, you know, being at home, being by yourself, you don't see some of the things, and you go around people, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so true, especially so many different people interacting all with each other. And you start really recognizing how many people just, I don't know. This is such an interesting thing, but it's interesting to me because it's always been like the psyche, how people work, what motivates us, what makes us do the things we do. It's always been interesting to me. It's always been the way I've looked at things. Like I said, to me, I mean, one of my guides is like Freud or something. Everything throughout my whole entire life. I was a child, like, I mean, at 3 years old, it was like, well, this, explaining to me good and evil, bad and good, and all of that kind of stuff. It was always things that I was being explained to and shown and understood because I was going through the things. I go through stuff and it would explain things to me and help me understand and stuff. So it is, I was always being explained these super psychological. That's why when I was young, I kept saying I want to be a psychologist. I want to help people. When I was really young, I really wanted to help kids, and I wanted to be a psychologist and help kids, so kids could feel better because I could understand what was going on with the dynamics and stuff. Because that is trippy. Oh, I didn't even think of that. It's like how they've had kids. Like we see kids and they can have just know all this science stuff, just know all of this stuff, and it's always like, well, how do they know that? Is it their guides? Is it their imprint, the role, all that stuff? I just hear a combination of a bunch of things. But to me, the same way as those kids understood certain things, that's like what I was being trained about through my life, was to understand certain things about interactions and dynamics and purpose and all of that stuff. So I was being explained those things throughout life. So I wasn't getting beat down. Like when people would screw me over, it wasn't the same kind of thing. Like I was learning lessons. I was being taught. I'm being trained. That's what I hear loud now. I was being trained to, help people come out live, because it wasn't my time. It wasn't humanity's time during that time. But now things are turning, and now these things that I've learned become more valuable because people want to understand things on a different level. It's like a different level. There's a leveling up in the game. And so, it's like I was becoming a master at a level while everybody was still playing on another level. There was a level to the game that I was mastering. And I don't mean mastering like I'm the master. Don't think of it like that. I was just playing this, the same thing as like if you're a gamer and other people go to another level that goes beyond your level, because games are hard, just like life. And so a lot of people get stuck on a certain level and they'll keep playing it and playing it. And when someone masters it and passes it, then everybody is like, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? What'd you do? How'd you get over that part? What'd you do there? And so they help each other to master the game. And so that is what I'm talking about. It is like I was just playing a different level, which I didn't know I was playing a different level. And was it a better level? No, it was a hard level. And, and I had no idea. But now it is the turning, when the dark, the swing around is like where other people will want to level up in their game. And so they'll want to understand this other approach, how to start going more in depth and thinking and seeing patterns, seeing compulsions, seeing impulses, understanding dynamics and stuff. It's a new way of looking at things. And so, to me, ever since I was a kid, I didn't even know who Freud was back then, and I don't even know it, but that is like what it was, for me, in my mind, I had, that going on. To me now, it's more of that, like it's always because I interact so much different now with them, but, I've always had a strong relationship with them. I've been talking to them my whole fucking life. So it isn't, I don't know, there's a trust that builds, and that's something that people don't really understand because they don't trust themselves. But it's not because they're not gotten to the depth of getting into the communication with their higher self and their guidance. They're still in the shallow part, where they're driven on impulses, and which is all built on pain and suffering. It's all determined by your trauma. So all of the experiences you had that you go unhealed, because where in life did they give you an opportunity to heal? Where did they even tell you you should? As a matter of fact, they'll shame you, and oh, you're needy, you're impulsive, you're neurotic, they'll try, and then they come up with diagnoses. Oh, you're a narcissist, you're borderline, you're histrionic, you're all these things to just minimize you, instead of saying, oh, well, you've got trauma that happened to you through your life, and now you're holding it onto you, and it guides you without you realizing it over how you go through life. And so you want to go through life more productive, more healthy and healing, then you need to face your trauma. You need to release it. You need to process it. So you need to find it so that you can get through those impulsive thoughts and get to a deeper way of seeing things so that you can feel better. Because living a life of easy triggers and stuff, it hurts you, it hurts the person who is living that way. They're the ones who have to always feel like beat down, like nobody understands me, nobody cares about me, nobody's really there for me. It's like, it's because the certain things that you think or you're looking at are the things that are not healthy. People don't realize how much they want something, but they push it away because of their own way of seeing themselves. And so it's important for people to get to a healthier self-esteem, and not need other people to confirm to you that you're okay. To be able to be like, nobody, everybody can think I'm crazy, everybody can think I'm an idiot, everybody can think I'm whatever they want to think. And it's like, that's, it's weird, because it is kind of like, when I wasn't healthy, when I was more insecure and stuff, it felt different. It was like I looked at it so different. Like, you really, really can change, because, where I used to feel like, oh, well, what did I feel like? But now it feels very foreign to me, but it was very different. But it was more like, just more of me feeling, that's the only thing I can see. It's just me feeling bad about myself. Of like, and not having anybody there, who understood you. You start talking and people just don't understand you. They don't understand where you're coming from. You wouldn't believe how many times I get told, you talk so weird. You say things in such a weird way. It's like, and I know I do. I know that I do, but it is, I don't know. I think, I think the autistic and the neurodivergent, that's a label that we all have to accept about ourselves. We all have these different states of consciousness. We all see things, and it's not like that one of us is weird or anything. We're just all a little different. We're all a little different from each other. It's all perception. Yeah, that's trippy, because it is like, okay, so if you took the two poles of every single thing, and you took the two poles, if you could find the two people that are most different from each other, and you put them, all of us would all fill in the gray. We would all be a radiance of the gray. So all the different perceptions is what gives the gray. And the more that we don't focus on the two that are the most opposite, the more that they come together, the more we complete it and make a circle. So the gray becomes the experience. It isn't the black and white. See, that's what we're moving out of, this black and white. Because just how my daughter took it was so much like, oh, so I'm the bad one and you're the good one because you're light and I'm... No, that's not what I'm saying. It's the philosophy. It's a way of looking at things. It's not evil. Like everybody's so into this evil and devils and all that shit. And ceremony, all this stuff. It's like, don't look at things on those levels. Look at things on a soul's level. A soul, energy, vibration, experience, purpose. Like, and there's so many different authors and books and metaphysical in reincarnation. Like, I'm always telling people, like the other grandma who just lost her son, you know, and gotta have a lot of good talks. And I told her a bunch of times, read those near-death experience books. It will really help you find peace, because you read book after book after book of people coming out of their bodies and them telling about what was going on. They weren't there experiencing all the trauma, because you know, my son-in-law did have it. It was pretty traumatic, I guess. No, but he was having seizures for 5 hours, and they just left him laying there. His friends didn't know what to do, so they just sort of like just left him having seizures for 5 hours. It melted his brain, so that's where he was like no brain activity. But I was trying to say, like, he wasn't in there. But that's the thing where other people who don't understand on these other levels, you know, they don't get, because to them the person is in there going through these horrible things. No, that's the storyline to traumatize us, so we get the after effects, we get the growing and stuff from it, but the person doesn't really go through that. They leave, they are out. The soul doesn't have to go through any of that stuff. The soul separates from the storyline, but the storyline has to end somehow. So there has to be an ending to the storyline that is the most impactful. There's a purpose to the ending of the storyline. So when anybody who dies, you know, even the sudden ones, I think a lot of people come out and they're just like, whew, you know, it was quick. But there's going to be a lot that come out still that are confused. They're just like, you know, what's going on? Why can't people hear me? And just super confused, because it's so programmed into them that they die. And when they can't have their body to move around, when the glove comes off, then all of a sudden they're like, who am I? What am I? You're alive. You're an eternal being that's outside of a body right now. And body's not even, it's like not even where we're inhabiting bodies. We're giving life to pictures. So we're bringing pictures to life. So it is, but there will be a lot of people who, you know, come out and they don't know, you know, what the fuck is going on. So it's, you know, it's just, people are so programmed. And it really makes a difference on programming. And keep on trying to remember what this one thing is that I wanted to say, because it wasn't something with the weather. That this big ass storm is coming. Man, I think it's, I saw somebody, because there's a lot of people now looking at the satellites and stuff, and somebody said there's 4 storms that are going to converge. Last I had seen there was 3, but now yesterday I saw there was only 4. So I don't know, they're going to fucking, the East Coast, and then I guess right now in Texas, the power went out. I don't know if it came back on, but they, the person doing the video said that when they got up, everything's black. And they were showing the video, there's no light anywhere. So I don't know if, you know, blackouts are starting. You know, we're going to hit the storm over there and wipe out a lot of people, especially if a lot of people are just keep, you know, got through that storm. You know, that's just what was warming you up. They were just making you put your guard down, because now they're going to come in with the whippersnapper that's going to wipe out shit. We'll see. We'll see, but things are getting bigger and bigger and more heated and stuff. Keep having helicopters go over here. One of them was a big old fucking military one. I didn't see the one this morning as it was dark, but they keep coming and coming. And I don't know if it's like surveilling areas, watching things. Like, I don't know what all's going on, because they keep having helicopters by my house too. or if they are still in this, because I think there's a lot more military in charge. I think the money thing, like that is, because what is today? Today is Saturday. So we have this weekend. I went and got gas. I went and got a bunch of cash too. So I got cash. I'm gonna go try and get groceries before I go home and see. But fuck, I think we're close to everything just like shutting down. And, you know, us being stuck for a while. And another thing, oh yeah, because when all those Venmo, Apple Pay, all those things were going down and crashing, I was thinking, I wonder if they're coming back up now on the quantum system. Like if they're just putting the quantum system in, and we don't know because it's, you know, still looks the same to us. But if there's enough arrests and stuff, because that was always the thing, that we're going to start putting that in play. But maybe it will already be in play, but there just won't be the money put into them yet. So you would still have your money where you thought that was also when everything crashes, you still get the impact. Because everything is about the impact. Like nobody wants the impacts, but the impacts are what changes everything. So we have to have the impacts. We have to go through, and then we have to believe in ourselves so we can get through shit. Like I said, you know, you got to challenge yourself. You got to see what you're made of. You got to go through some stuff. And going through life, never going through anything, how do you ever know what you're made of? You know, how do you know what you really want? Somebody keeps giving you cookies and you think like, well, I really love Oreos. Boy, I've grown up on Oreos, love them. And then you never even got a Nestle's chocolate chip because you just had the Oreos. Well, now you're about to see there's a whole fucking aisle of cookies. So everything is going to change. And people are going to go that extreme from, you know, they just had this one thing always and thought that's all there was. But all of a sudden they're going to find out, oh, there's a whole fucking store. So there's, you know, there's big switcheroo, and it's so good. Fuck. Just the, you can, I swear to God, you can feel the energy shifting. You can feel this, you can feel the energy of other people. You can feel this flipping. So anyways, I think this week is going to be impactful. I do. I think there's going to be some shit that'll go down. Maybe it'll be a Hunter thing. Maybe it'll be a Joe thing. Maybe it'll be a money thing. Maybe it'll be a Trump thing. But some big things will happen this week. And then I think it'll just keep leading up. It'll just keep being more and more. But that storm, yeah, that storm's coming in. There's going to be big shit next week. Yeah, fuck. A big storm is like that is an yeah, there's going to be big shit next week. So, you know, I hope. It's so funny, because even if you're like, well, I hope I'm here, I hope I'm there, I'm hoping, but anything can happen anywhere. You just got to keep being like, well, you know, I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be, and whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen, and that's where it's going to happen, is where I'm supposed to be. There's nothing we can do about it. So even if I say, well, I hope I'm home, because that would feel safe, but what if I was home and that was like a huge storm went, and, you know, all the trees fell on the houses? Then, you know, why would I have hoped I was there? So you got to just be more in the flow of like, wherever I'm supposed to be is where I'm supposed to be. Whatever's supposed to go down is what's supposed to go down. And it's for my best. It's for what the challenges I came here, what I came here to learn about myself. You know, like I said, there's going to be some heroes that are going to come from some of these stories. You know, they're going to go down in history as doing this wonderful thing and changing. You know, it's going to be really cool. You know, but it's hard right now because it's just so confusing. So many people are so confused. So many people are just, I have no idea. It just trips me out how much I can, when I talk to people, and it's just, you know, the whole thing of just not seeing and not understanding. Okay, wait, because yeah, it was that other thing of seeing it. Everything is just about perception. Anything that you are experiencing, just not only to keep asking yourself, but try and see it from other sides. Try and see it like, well, I wonder how this person sees this situation. I wonder how they're feeling right now. That's the thing. is, they want to label narcissist, borderline, and all this stuff. And then they're in a relationship. What is this, a battle of labels? Well, you're the narcissist. Well, you're borderline. It's because both people are feeling just as traumatized. Narcissist is in pain. It's their way to get through life is that approach. They need to learn better skills that are more productive and to heal the trauma that is making them put this shield up. Yesterday I was talking about some people to some other people, we're talking about this situation, that situation, and it's just very trippy is how many people really put an armor of, because everybody's got trauma and pain, but everybody approaches it different. Some just, become victim, beat down, and others become angry and put on this, approach them and they will fucking cut you. And other people become manipulative in order to hide their wounds. Everybody has these approaches to trying to get through life. And, because like I said, they haven't, they're teaching everybody how to heal their shit. So you don't have to have these other personas that develop, that become labeled, and then you become more insecure, because now, well, I'm a narcissist, I'm the worst. It's like, and you got to remember all of other things. Nobody can play a role out by themselves. A narcissist needs the other pattern player to play out that role, and the two people are playing out these roles so that they are growing and developing, where we sit there and think, oh, this is a toxic person, they're so horrible, but you're as toxic to them as they are to you. We are here to learn from each other, we're here growing, and there's a whole part in life that is all the people you're going to interact with when you're out there trying to date and all that stuff. Find yourself, I'm trying to find myself, is you're gonna have it is the tarot deck. The people who are there to teach you are the people who you're gonna interact with. It's not your anchor, pull up to the dock, this is where I'm here to stay. That's not what life is about. Life is about you are pulling up, going and venture, come back and get back on the ship and go to the next dock and see who's the next person. You're here, you're on the life journey of growing. And so to think that these people are, people have an expectation that people aren't supposed to hurt them. No, they're supposed to hurt you because that is helping you grow. You're becoming your own person. Don't get stuck sitting there like, poor me, this mean guy. I always go with these same mean people and stuff. It's like, yeah, but you're just as horrible to them as they are to you. They're just as broken. Just two broken people who are triggering each other so that they can grow. So use your growth, use your time to your best ability. Grow, change your standards, develop, start figuring out who you are without having to have somebody to bounce it off of. You can go out there and find yourself. You can fucking eat, love, pray this place. That is, too, though, look at how Eat, Love, Pray was going out and finding yourself as pulling up to the dock, who do you find? Who do you see? Where are you, parts of yourself that you didn't know were there? That's why it's important to not get in your comfort zone and stay stuck. Like, well, I don't ever do that. It's the setting the rules. Well, I'd never do that. Well, I wouldn't do that. Well, geez, you could be missing out on some important people who are there to teach you and help you grow. And, but then you may have to get to your life review and see how you held yourself back all the time. Whatever it was going to be, it's always going to be that way. But we are at this time of this opportunity to me, it's like getting this cheat sheet to the life review. So you get to know what to expect. So now you can start, like things gonna die. You start approaching life in a different way. So anyways, my phone's gonna die. I do need to charge it. And I've got this little plug-in thing. But anyways, hopefully, because there's more things. There's things I'm leaving off right now. But Jesus Christ, people, stop going out there containing. Like, this is control and contain. And then all these lines of people to show, yeah, I'll sit here all day long. get up there and to be searched to go to a con, and there was no warning. Nobody was expecting this, and all their gas. How many people have sat there all day? And there's no gas station out there. You leave the gorge, like, come out here, like in Central Texas. Central Texas. Well, I'm down in South Central Washington, so the gorge is right. Oh my God, yeah, when are those people leaving? I don't want to leave when those, fuck, I should look it up. That would be traffic, fuck. That probably was why there was a lot of traffic going. But you start seeing a lot of campers and stuff. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. So you'll have to see but all these people who keep going to these things, this is all that is going to go on at this point. You have a gathering. If football games or anything, you watch. There are going to be football games, and all of a sudden they're going to say, oh, someone was there that had this sickness. Now everybody probably has it. And all this shit they'll fucking release mosquitoes and those things. They'll probably have fucking, probably go put in the stadium some sort of weird little creepy bug on the ground, and everybody sits down, and these little creepy neobot bugs get on everybody, and everybody gets some programmed illness, and like, it's fucking mental. And people keep going and keep going because they want life to go back to what it was. You gotta let go of what life was. We can't hold on to what it was. And where we're going is gonna be so much better. And I know it's so hard for people who can't see to understand that. But it is so true. And see, I'm about to go off again and forget the phone's about to die. So anyways, have a good day, and then we'll probably talk to you tomorrow because I get up before everybody else. So, and I found this little thing to use. So anyways, I'll talk to you tomorrow.